What's up, everybody? Welcome to Simple Songwriting, episode 20. 20
Bum,
of
ba, bum, 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 bum.
them. We did it. 20 episodes. Pretty cool. So, yeah, we are playing a little fast and loose with today's episode, y'all. We got some stuff to talk about, but not we're winging it. It's been a busy week for both of us, but I think it'll be nice. So,
It's been a pretty laid back week for me, Kim.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang. It has been crazy for me. Holy cow. I just be going. I had anniversary this week. I had, stuff at work. Last week I had to get financials over to our auditors, blah, 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 job. So it's just been, I've been bouncing off the walls all week. So, and then Halloween as well. Oh my God, we went out. I was hungover on Friday. It's just been crazy, but that's okay. We'll have a we should be able to have a good discussion. So, what you been listening to, Aubrey? What's the new stuff?
Yeah. So I discovered a new artist band this week. Yeah, yesterday actually.
Fresh.
Called the Bridge City Sinners.
The Bridge City
Uh,
Sinners.
yeah. They're
Okay.
listed as a folk band. To me, they're like not that I listen to a whole lot of folk music. I would say this might be the only folk band I've really listened to in any great detail or length. But they're like a darker, more kind of like steampunky folk band, I guess.
They
I,
look
I like I hate to say modern folk band 'cause that feels
they look
wrong.
like gothic folk.
Yeah, I like the steampunky gothic folk
Oh,
title.
yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah. Um, I discovered them because I was scrolling through the socials, like playing next week near you, and I was like, who the heck are these guys? So I checked them out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a $20 show, so I'm gonna go see him next Wednesday.
Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah, I convinced my father-in-law to go, and
Nice.
my brother-in-law is also gonna go.
Nice. Nice.
Um, Other than that, Lady Gaga released a new single.
You know, she just did that single with Bruno Mars that was actually pretty good.
Yes, yes. So "Die With Me" was the Bruno Mars single.
Die with a Smile.
Um, that was a, yeah, sorry, "Die With a Smile."
Mm-hmm.
And "Disease" was her other single, which actually that came out October 25th. I just didn't listen to either of them actually until this past week.
Yeah, I didn't know about Disease. Is Disease any good?
I don't like it as much as I like the Bruno Mars "Die with a Smile." Um,
You
but
know,
it's not bad. I mean, it's Gaga. I'm a big Gaga fan.
I've been really curious, and I think I might look it up while we're talking. The Die with a Smile is so interesting. The way it sounds, like something about the chords that they use, like they just sound great. Um, A major, D major. Sorry, I'm just curious. If the world was ending, I'd want to be next to you. So it goes B minor to C sharp minor 7. That's interesting. That's a really cool change going from that minor to that minor. What's the
Uh,
Sorry, keep going. What
yeah,
else you got?
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, I'll be curious to know if you've ever heard of this band. I had not. This was another one that I kind of conveniently found by accident scrolling through the socials.
Hmm.
Um, I don't particularly love them, but it's called Him.
I have heard of him. I
Um,
don't think I've listened to him.
I had not heard or listened to really until the past week or so, and this is very much so strikes me as a band that uh, probably has just like a cult following. But they won. They've been nominated for 17 Emmy Awards and won 8.
Emmys
Yeah,
isn't aren't Emmys like an acting award?
I have no idea. I'm just saying what the Apple profile says.
Wow, They released an
This is
album in
apparently
2005. How old are these guys?
their 90s,
Yeah, I've
like
definitely heard
late
of
90s.
him. I've probably listened to a little bit of him as
They're
well.
mostly two. Actually, they look like their first album came out in 2001. I was gonna say late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, but they've got that like sound. I know what you mean. What are they like
Yeah.
a almost like a what's the band? I can't think. The Trent Reznor, Nine Inch Nails. Are they like a Nine Inch Nails?
Mm, not quite.
Hmm. Here, hold on.
It was a Finnish goth band.
I can.
The Hymn began their career as His Infernal Majesty in '91. They played one show, broke up in '93, then reformed in '95.
Cool, cool.
Interesting.
It's going good.
I could not really get into their stuff, but I understand, like,
Why people like them?
following. Yeah.
Honestly, that's kind of how I feel about Ramstein.
Yeah.
I could never really get into Ramstein, but I get it. I get why people are really. I get like the type of person that would really be passionate about them, and like I'm totally cool with it. Like I'm not dissing or anything, but it's just not for me. You know,
Yeah. I
like
get that.
the whole,
Rammstein is different.
yeah. I don't know why I just thought of that, but like I just feel like that's a band that I was never like. I just never felt like, oh yeah, like this is just incredible. You know, people obviously everyone knows like do hast, du
Yeah.
hast nicht, but then there's like I think that song also has like the little synth part that's like
Yeah.
and people were like, don't you think this is awesome? Like, I mean, it's okay, it's cool, it's really it's cool, it's super cool.
I I had tickets to see uh Rammstein, but COVID happened. I was gonna go to Texas to see him because that's the closest they were coming to me.
Damn,
Um,
that sucks.
that's one of those bands I would see live. I'm not a huge Rammstein fan, but like their live performance is like
I've seen
Slipknot squared.
I've seen like little clips, and I've seen one clip where he has like this crazy flame thing on his back. Have you seen that?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Pyro is wild.
Anyone listening to this, just look up like Ramstein live flamethrower or something, and he just has
You
like
don't even
this,
have to say flamethrower;
just
it'll just appear.
yeah, like it's like the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like how
Their
did
pyro
they?
budget is insane.
What the hell? Yeah. Cool though. Him. Yeah, I've definitely heard of him. I probably heard some of their songs, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I have either.
Yeah.
But like, I'm the only person that just guys.
Yeah, they got like their songs have a couple like 60 million views on Spotify. They're
Yeah, I mean,
de-
like they were a big deal somewhere to some people.
they were a big deal somewhere. You know, it's funny when my band released our stupid joke album back in like 2019. One of those
Yeah,
songs got like 1,000 plays in the Philippines. Got like more plays than our actual album.
rip.
Rip. We were all just sitting around drinking, looking at our stats, and I was like, guys, what's going on here? Like this one song just blew up over in the Philippines on SoundCloud. I think we only released it on SoundCloud. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, you need to go for the Philippines.
I guess maybe fun stuff. Yeah, I the we already talked about the new Linkin Park song. That's what I was listening to.
Hmm.
You know, I went and listened to the Pronoia sessions by Atreyu.
Hmm.
Uh Man, I want to like Atreyu so bad, but holy shit, they're so cringe sometimes.
Yeah,
I
they are.
thought I thought these were going to be they even say reimagined. So I'm thinking like a reimagining, like a new take on it. It's just fucking acoustic covers.
Yeah.
Oh god. Have I ever gone on this rant about acoustic covers to you?
I'm gonna say no.
All right.
based off of your initial reaction.
All right, let's just get into this. We weren't even going to talk about this, but you know what? I feel passionately about this. I think acoustic covers, not just by the band. I'm talking like acoustic covers on YouTube, whatever. I think they're fucking lame. And I know I am in the minority. I know a lot of people love hearing acoustic versions of metal songs or like whatever. I don't like them. I think they are cheap, they're corny. All they do is slow the song down. I tried so hard and got so far. Look, here, check it out. Hold on, wait, wait.
Oh no.
I tried so hard and got so far. I hate it. It's so dumb. Everyone does them, and I hate it when bands do them because the band is like, oh, you know what would really make this just work? Like this, what would be crazy? Let's play it on acoustic guitars. It's like, oh my god, no one's ever thought of that before, dude. Holy shit. Only everybody ever. It's kind of like metal covers of pop songs, right? Like just
Pop
everyone,
goes punk.
yeah. Like I just but I at least think that those are kind of cool. Like those can be cool, but the
Some of them are.
yeah, like I think it can get a little cliche after a while. I can't listen to
Yeah.
too many of them, but if it's done right, like those can be cool. But I've always thought that like the acoustic covers, like I've heard them, I hear them like with Afterlife by Avenged Sevenfold. Like I hear these covers are, and I'm just like, God, you just let's take all the cool, interesting instrumentation and drum work and all the interesting stuff out of it, and let's just turn it into another generic, like, acoustic chord song. And I know that I am in the minority on this. I have talked to so many people about this, and they're like, dude, it's cool though. And it's not cool. I don't think it's cool. I think it's cheap. Everyone can do it. It's like you could do it with any song. You could do it with I don't know. Name it smells like Teen Spirit. A denial, a denial, a denial. Like it's dumb. They're dumb. So when I started listening to these Pronoia sessions by Atreyu, and they start, I was the song I was the most interested to hear was "Right Side of the Bed" because I love
Mhm.
the Curse. I think that's their best album. It doesn't have the best songs. I think A Death Grip on Yesterday has the best songs, but I think The Curse is their best overall album. So I went to it and was like, oh, I'm really excited to hear like maybe a more fresh take on like Right Side of the Bed, right? And those acoustic guitars started, and I was fast forwarding through, and it was all acoustic guitars, and I was like, son of a bitch. So anyway, I I don't know what is going on with Atreyu that they have decided to just chop their balls off. I feel like the last like two albums have just been like cliche garbage, and the music videos they're just these dorks. Like they have like a self, I don't know what's the phrase, like a humiliation fetish. Nah, I mean like they dress up in these goofy outfits and they just act like goobers on social media, and it's like, oh god. And so then this is like the cherry on top, right? It's like, all right, guys, you know those really cool heavy songs that we wrote, like X's and O's and Right Side of the Bed back in like the early 2000s when people really liked us and, you know, actually compared us to like Avenged Sevenfold and stuff. Let's just pussify those songs. So that's how I feel about it, Aubrey. That's my rant. Acoustic covers are stupid. I don't like them. I get it. Other people like them. That's fine. Y'all can like what you like. But way better, way more impressive to create like a good composition with like cool guitar parts and drum parts and stuff, and like make a whole like orchestration than it is to sit there with an acoustic guitar and play four chords and sing a metal song slowly. Rant over. Womp womp womp. So
I will
on.
say
Hmm.
I haven't listened to the full. uh, thing yet, but I'm largely not a fan of a lot of stuff I have heard.
Yeah, I listened to Right Side of the Bed, X's and O's, and Becoming the Bull, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to hear this. I know exactly what this is. Ugh. So anyway, aside from that, I listened to. I think I actually went. I listened to some Metallica. Actually, I was listening to a
Mm.
lot of Metallica. I was listening to the Ride the Lightning album.
Uh,
Probably it's probably my top three favorite Metallica albums.
I think, I mean, yeah, no brainer.
Wait, what is your? Let's keep it to three. What are your top three
Yeah.
Metallica albums?
Um, Let me pull them all up really quickly to make sure I don't leave one out. But if I were to go gut answer without saying it in no order, it would be Master Puppets, Ride the Lightning, and Injustice for All.
A pretty all right. That is a solid answer. Maybe a little safe, but a commendable
That's,
answer.
yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that. And I know that that is leaving out the Black Album, but
So
I don't care.
that's bold, man. That's bold. So I would have to go here. Okay, mine might be controversial. Black Album's my number one. I just think that song or that album has the best songwriting that they ever did. I can't. Okay, I'm not saying this is second or third, and maybe in no particular order. I'll say that. So like Black Album, I have to say Death Magnetic. I I
Oh,
love Death Magnetic. I'm sorry. I love Death Magnetic. I know I get it. Oh, it's not from the 80s.
no,
I
I think Death Magnetic is a great album. I just don't think it's top three.
no,
I think I defend Death Magnetic and like Death Magnetic way more than most Metallica fans do.
that's fine. I just I love Death Magnetic. I think it's just such a great album. I think it's super underrated. I think it got a lot of shit because of the mix, which I mean, a little understandable, especially now that I understand mixing and stuff. Like the mix is like what the hell were they think? Like they just did unnecessary stuff with the mix, but the compositions and the songwriting and everything, top notch. The Unforgiven 3, hell
Yeah.
yes. Broken Beat and Scarred, like man, Judas Kiss, all of those songs, like Death Magnetic, banger after banger. So I love Death Magnetic. I will defend that album till I die. It's this third spot where I get a little fucked up because
Well, I think I know what you're gonna say.
guess
It's the Helping Hands live and acoustic at the Masonic.
what?
They did an acoustic live album.
S&M Live? No,
No, no,
no.
no, 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 no. This
Yeah,
is different. This is all acoustic.
no, I would fuck that. I do not want to listen to an all acoustic Metallica concert. I'm sorry.
SMM Live is a great album.
S&M Live is fantastic. Um, it's the only I think it's the only way that you can hear No Leaf Clover, which epic song if you haven't heard that. Um, do you know what I'm talking about? No Leaf Clover? Okay,
Yes.
all right. It's just, you didn't say anything. I was like, all right, shit.
I was trying to see if that I was trying to just remember if that was actually true or not, but I think you're right.
Yeah, it's not on any album. It's only there, and which is crazy because that song is so good. Such a good song. It's criminal that like there isn't a place to listen to it. Um, if there is, I would love to know. Please leave a message in the comments. So my third spot, honestly, it's a little bit of a toss up between Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning. I think that like obviously like Orion, Sanitarium, and Master of Puppets, like those three songs alone are like three of the greatest songs ever written. I mean, bar none. They're just ridiculously solid songs. But
Ooh,
then,
what about Battery or Welcome Home
oh
Sanitarium?
no, I said Welcome Home Sanitarium.
Oh, okay.
I said Orion, Master of Puppets, and Welcome Home, but like
Okay.
Battery is don't get me wrong, Battery is incredible as well. I just think that those other three are like those are the best songs in the album in my opinion. But I do feel like every song on that album is a banger. Leper Messiah,
Absolutely.
Disposable Heroes is just ridiculous. Um, Back to the Front, Ride the Lightning. Here's the thing though. While I think that those individual songs on Master of Puppets are like the best of the best, I think overall as an album, Ride the Lightning I like more. I just like Ride the Lightning to me just has lots of really awesome variety. I actually like Escape. I know that they don't like that song, but I think Escape is a really cool song and I like hearing that side of Metallica. For Whom the Bells Tolls and Fade to Black. Like it's funny because like Welcome Home Sanitarium, unbelievable song, but then it's like it's Fade to Black. Like what would you say is better, Welcome Home or Fade to Black?
Ooh, man.
I see that's what I'm saying. It's like it doesn't it's almost like holy shit, like I get that Welcome Home is as good as it is, but also we're talking about Fade to Black and like that song is like they were on some shit when they wrote Fade to Black. Just the intro solo alone.
Think I think I would give it to Fade to Black, man.
Yeah.
And I love Welcome Home.
Welcome Home was one of the first guitar riffs I ever heard. Like that song blew my mind when I first heard it. Um yeah, it's a very tough call. It's like an extraordinarily tough call because Welcome
Yeah.
Home is that good, but Fade to Black is just iconic, man. I mean, it is just there is like it's like flawless. It's like a flawless song from start to finish, you know? And so yeah, I think overall I like Ride the Lightning. I think there's ups and downs and twists and turns, whereas I feel like Master of Puppets, it's very consistent. Like you're either going full throttle or you have like these beautiful melodic sections, like in Orion and Welcome Home and Master of Puppets, right? Like just some of the best like melodic guitar harmony sections you've ever heard. But then like when it's going full throttle, it is just full on, and that's awesome. I'm not like I think let me say it like this. I do think that Master of Puppets is like the more iconic metal album. Like I think Master of Puppets is probably the most iconic metal album actually when I think about it. But like personally, I like the flow of Ride the Lightning as an album just a little bit more.
Yeah. Think about
Yeah. But yeah, Black Album though, man, the Black Album, that it's just great, man. Like every song, the style, like the Black Album basically set the standard for rock and metal for like 20 years. Like
it.
I mean, they were still. I mean, it's funny because you still get bands trying to, or not even. Here's the thing: it's not that they're trying to replicate the style or the mix or the sound. It's that the sound that they came out with on the Black Album was so good that it changed the way that metal was mixed and like produced forever. Like you have pre-Black Album rock and metal, which is like you think of like Motorhead or yeah, Motorhead, Ace of Spades. You think of like 80s hair metal and Van Halen or AC/DC and like that quote unquote old sound. And then you have like new metal and Korn and Pantera, right? And that change and like the idea that like it was very in your face and really bass heavy and just like and beefy, and it's like that change is 100% because of the Black Album. So like crazy ass album, dude. And then you've got And
Yeah.
Justice for All. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah. I mean, I find
What do you think of Load and Reload?
uh my favorite.
Dang. I actually, okay, so when I was listening through all the Metallica albums for the first time, I saw people like dissing those albums. But I went and listened to them. I actually really like those albums. I think
So I think part of it, I think there's a couple things for me to look at. So my first Metallica album and my first introduction to Metallica was Guitar Hero,
same.
which is for people that don't know, it was one, yeah,
Yep.
a Guitar Hero. And I literally remember like we were about to go on a road trip. This was in the time of CD players, okay?
Yeah.
Um, and then my mom was like, I asked my mom if she'd grab me like a new CD or two for the road trip just to have some new stuff to listen to. My CD player.
Hmm.
And I was like, I didn't even know what album it was on. I was like, I was at soccer practice and my mom ran to the store. And I was like, just get the Metallica album with one on it. Like, I don't know what it is. Just ask. Somebody will know, kind of thing. And she did. And I had no idea what to expect outside of the song one. Like, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Yeah. And then it blew your
And
mind.
then, yeah, um, it did.
Yeah. One was the song that made me want to play guitar. Um, I saw my friend playing it on a real guitar. And this was like at the point where I was like an expert guitar player, guitar hero player. And I was like, oh my God, like you're playing it on a real guitar. So I begged him to let me borrow a guitar. And he did. And he tabbed out the intro to one and I spent like a week trying to memorize it and learn it and I got it, you know? But yeah, one is next level, bro. Like that song's crazy. Like so many sections and layers and like it really is a master, like one is a masterpiece. um I don't know if I could say that I like And Justice for All as an album as much as I like the Black Album or like Master of Puppets or Ride the Lightning, you know?
Yeah. I think this is gonna sound very cliche, but I think my issue why I don't give the Black Album a spot in my top three is just because it's a little mainstreamy.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. Um, but that would be my reason. And I think that Black Album, great album as well.
So
Um,
I had thought about that, but I just, it's funny because like when I really listened to it for the first time, I was actually in college the first time I heard the album all the way through. I went through my Metallica phase in college, and so
it's not a phase.
it's not a phase. The thing is like I started at the first album, like which is Kill 'Em All, which
Yeah.
it's fine. It's good, but I don't think it's aged as well as the others. Um,
No.
and then Ride the Lightning, I was really surprised at the variety. Like I didn't realize that there was so much variety on the Metallica album, like on that album specifically. For Master of Puppets, I was, I knew the song Master of Puppets and I knew like Orion, of course, and Battery. Like I knew the hits, but like then you get Disposable Heroes and Leper Messiah and Damage Inc. and it's like, wow, this album is just full throttle. And I mean, like that's cool, but personally, I've always liked albums with variety. Like with lots of different styles and things like that. Uh, that's just a personal preference. So
Yeah.
but then I listened to And Justice for All and this is going to sound cliche on my end, but there's no bass in that album. And so like I know this is like Metallica 101, right? But for those of you who
Yeah.
don't know, who might not be like into Metallica culture, And Justice for All does not have any bass. They like mixed out the bass. And it's like the greatest controversy in metal period. Like it's
And it's
crazy.
not because there was no bass.
Yeah, they recorded the bass and then Lars was like, turn the bass down. A little more, a little more. A little more. All right, there. And they're like, there's no bass. He's like, sounds good to me. Um, it's just a like, and Justice for All is a very, very harsh album, and it's I'm I look, I'm gonna say it. I think some parts just drag. I think there are sections that just drag on a little too long, and it's like, I get it, I get it. You're playing the same riff over and over again with like slight variations. I get it, you know. But then on top of that, there's like legendary masterworks on that album too. You know, like I think the song Blackened is incredible. I think obviously One is ridiculous. Like that song's a classic. Dyer's Eve is probably the like might be the most difficult Metallica song to play. So no hate to And Justice for All, but it just, I wasn't quite feeling it. And then I heard the Black Album, and I was like, I think up to that point I was like, Metallica is really good. I've heard most of these songs. I it's just not quite like I was still listening as like a casual listener, not necessarily like, oh my god, these are the greatest guys ever, you know. Um
Mm.
and then the Black Album hit, and I was like, oh my god, like the songwriting, like the riffs, the notes they choose, the flow of the songs, it's like perfect. I think the Unforgiven was the song that sold me, because that song is, I hadn't heard that song before college, and I was like, this is so cool. The fact that the song has a soft chorus but heavy verses, I just thought that was so unique. And then the solo, the solo might be, this might be a bold statement, but I actually think the Unforgiven solo might be the best solo that Kirk Hammett. No, that's not true. Fade to Black, but all right, it's like a top 5 solo for Kirk Hammett. Like, I forget about Fade to Black. Fade to Black is the best solo.
There's a lot of Metallica solos
I
there, sir.
I know there are. There's so many solos, but anyway, I'm not going to make a definitive statement on what I think his best solos are here. I'd have to think about that. But in general,
Yeah.
I think the Unforgiven solo and the composition and the harmonies and everything that's going on, the horns and the layers, I was like, wow, this is like a really, really powerful song. And it only got better. Like I had never heard songs like My Friend of Misery and um
And
yeah.
oh,
And then honestly, this might be a bold claim, and I don't know. This could be a conversation, but I think that Sad But True is like, I think the Sad But True riff might be like the heaviest riff ever written. It
no, that's not even a debate.
I okay, hear me out. Just hear me out. When I say heavy, I mean like in the sense that like it encompasses what heavy, like
I
sludging
get it. I
metal.
get it.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm just saying. I think all the other heavy riffs wish they could be sad but true. I'm just saying.
I think Welcome Home Sanitary heavier than that, but true.
Okay, but then we get in. Okay, so that's where we get into like thrash heavy versus like heavy, like thick and like
Yeah.
gravitationally heavy. You know.
Heavy. Yeah.
Boom. Dun, 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 dun.
Well, let's flip the script for a moment and say, what do you think is the worst Metallica album? Because I can tell you mine, no questions asked.
Oh, I mean, it's Saint Anger, right? Like,
I was gonna say 72 Seasons. I would rather listen to Saint Anger than 72 Seasons, man.
you know, honestly, I forgot about 72 seasons. You might be right on that, actually. 72 seasons.
I
Man,
have yet, like, my Metallica pool isn't very big, but I have yet to meet a single person that has liked 72 Seasons. Like,
uh,
legitimately.
72.
And obviously, people out there do, and
I,
that's good for them.
72 seasons to me
Wonderful.
had everything going for it. Like the album artwork is dope. The idea, like with the name being like the first 18 years of your life, that's sick. So, and then the idea that they're like going back to like classic Metallica, like from the 80s, and like recapturing that was awesome. And they did that with the first single, the what was it, Lux Eterna. And then I actually really, really like the song 72 Seasons. I think the song 72 Seasons is awesome. But man, like, so here's the thing. If you're going to, because there's not really a ballad on the album. There's no diversity really on the album. It's just heavy.
No, there's not.
It's like generic heavy riff after generic heavy riff. And the thing is like, okay, if your goal is to capture like the youthful spirit and the youthful energy, you can't make a 70-minute album. Like, that's not how it works. That's what makes Kill 'Em All so impactful, because it's actually a short album. Isn't it like 40 minutes or something? It's like, that's how you
I
capture
can
like,
tell you exactly.
what is it?
Saint Anger is.
No, Kill 'Em All.
Sorry. Yep, you're right. I'm dumb.
Wow, wow.
Hold please. I just scrolled by Saint Anger as I on my way to Kill 'Em All.
Yeah.
Kill 'Em All is 51 minutes.
51 minutes, which still is like, that's like an average length actually. I think 40 to 50 minutes is average, but for a Metallica album it's pretty short, because their albums be long as hell. But anyway, but to my point though,
I don't know how true that statement is.
Metallica albums are
47 minutes for Ride the Lightning, 55 minutes for Master of Puppets, 1 hour and 5 minutes for Injustice for All, 1 hour and 3 minutes for Black Album.
mhm.
Load is an hour and 20 minutes. Reload, hour and 16 minutes. Saint Anger, 1 hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Death Magnetic, 1 hour and 15 minutes. Lulu, we want to count that, an hour and 27 minutes.
Mhm.
Hardwired to Self-Destruct, 1 hour and 18 minutes. 72 Seasons, 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Right. So fair enough, but maybe here's a better way for me to phrase it, right? Like, if they make an album like Death Magnetic and it's going to be an hour and 15 minutes or whatever it is, like, if you're going to make an album that long, you have to keep it interesting. You have to switch it up. And so like Death Magnetic to me is one of their most diverse albums, or yeah, diverse albums. Like, all the songs have a very unique character to them and a very unique style. They're very distinct from each other. Like, All Nightmare Long is nothing like Broken, Beaten, Scarred, you know? Even the ballads, like The Unforgiven 3 is an extremely different ballad than like The Day That Never Comes. But then for them to do an hour and 17 minutes of just slow dad rock riffs or like dad metal riffs with little to no variety, and it would be different if each song, like the sections of the songs, were like, different and well thought out and composed and things like that, like they flowed well. But they don't. They'll play the same riff over and over and over again, and it's like, this riff is not that good, guys. What is going on, you know? So I feel like if their goal is to capture youthful energy, it's like, okay, make it short. Make it like a punch, like a gut punch. Like, you've still got the heaviness, you still got the energy, but take down the amount of time that's in there. Throw like one ballad or something in there, but you just can't have over an hour of music that all sounds the same with no variety.
I agree. I hated listening to the album.
I made it. I remember when I reached the halfway point and I was waiting for the ballad, honestly. I was like, oh, these are cool heavy songs. Where's the ballad? And I remember getting, I want to say, like, what was the song that lost me? Because I did hit a point where I was like, oh no, I don't think this is I don't think this is good. Um I think it was Crown of Barbed Wire. I think Crown of Barbed Wire was like, that's when I was like, oh my god, this album is not, like, they still haven't played a ballad. Like, this album is just, it just drags. And oh my god, the 11-minute song at the end. Did you listen to that?
Yes, begrudgingly.
Oh my god. So, okay, I think I will agree with you. I do think 72 Seasons is the worst album. I think it's the only album where I was like, geez, I am not enjoying this. I've never really gone back and listened to it all again. I listened to some songs, like I wanted to convince myself to like it, but I was like, man, nah, it ain't working. So, Saint Anger though, that's it's an interesting album.
I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be.
If we're sticking
Personally,
with the theme of like cliche takes, if they just change the snare, that album would be great. um, yeah, Saint Anger. Yeah, Saint Anger is interesting. Like, there's lots of interesting stuff in that album, but it's just again, it's funny. I feel like Metallica does that where they've got this great album and then they make some weird mixing decision at the end. It's like, why'd you do that? Just don't do that. Like with And Justice for All, let's turn the bass off. Why? What the fuck? Like, you know, with damn it, Death Magnetic. They were like, just over compress the shit out of it. Just compress it. Just turn the compressor up. It's like, why? Why'd you do that? That's why I like we haven't talked about it much yet. Hardwired to Self Destruct.
yeah.
Like, that's a pretty solid album. It's not like their best, but it's
It's
cool.
no, I agree. It's a Metallica album.
Yeah, Spit Out the Bones, great.
I like Moth into a Flame.
Moth into Flame
The
is
Bones is good too.
yeah, Moth into Flame is awesome. But the thing about that album is it's actually like it's probably the aside from maybe the Black
Oh, we can't
Album,
forget Halo on Fire.
Halo on Fire is all right. It's okay. It's cool. Um, that's probably the best mixed Metallica album though. The mix on Hardwired is just awesome. Those songs sound amazing. Um, yeah, they really kicked ass there. Are we forgetting any? Have we covered all the Metallica albums now?
I mean, we didn't cover them all, and so like we didn't talk about Lulu.
Yeah, but Lulu is like, here's the thing. Like, they wanted that to be like an art piece kinda, but it just turned out a little silly. I remember hearing an interview with them where they were like depressed after the reception because they all thought it was cool. Like, they all thought this was like a really interesting, like, unique thing that they were doing that was kind of artful. And then everyone
What's so
just,
unique?
what? Yeah. Well, and everyone made fun of them for it. And they were like, ah, man. And so I can get that. Like, that's a bummer. But that's what happens. You try and then it doesn't quite go your way and you just gotta keep going. But yeah, it is. I mean, I'm not saying that I necessarily like it. It's weird. I am the table. Like, all right, man, just settle down. Um, yeah, there's Lulu. I don't think I've actually listened to, what is it, Garage Inc., the covers album. I've never listened to it. I don't really care for cover albums and cover stuff. I'm just not a big fan of it. Unless you're like really gonna reimagine it in a way that's actually unique, like Holy Diver. I think it's probably one of the better covers that's come out ever.
I like Whiskey Jar.
I do remember liking that one. Um, but
I like the Am I Evil?
I have a weird memory with that because that was actually one of the tabs on a Guitar World magazine that I had that I used to scour. Like, I read everything in that magazine and it had the Am I Evil tab in there, but I never learned it. Um, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. I don't really like. Yeah, the covers. I'm not a big fan. Whatever. It'll come back to me. Um, yeah, this has actually turned into a fun little Metallica discussion. I'm trying
What
to.
do you think about they're touring with Pantera right now?
Yeah. What do I think about
Um,
that?
I guess, yeah, because like so I think I've seen Metallica more than you have.
I've seen him
at this
three.
point.
I've seen him 3 times.
Yeah, I've seen like 6 or 7.
Mhm.
So I've kind of seen them play everything that I'd want to see them play.
Right.
Um, and to be fair, 2 or 4 of those times I saw them, it was like back-to-back nights with different set lists each night.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Which was also the appeal as to why I went to those shows because there was some like Metallica songs I needed to check off seeing live. One of them being "Fade to Black."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and they're touring the 72 Seasons album, which I hate, but
So I
oh,
saw Pantera.
Metallica.
I
Oh,
actually,
did you?
it wasn't Pantera though. They weren't calling it was I think it was when they were testing out like okay, so first off, isn't it Zach Wild that's playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had another guy there, and it was Phil Anselmo and like his kind of solo band, but they did a Pantera night in San Antonio, and my singer and I went to that, and they only played Pantera songs, and it
Oh,
was it was so fucking awesome, dude. It was amazing. Like it was all Pantera all night. The guitarist was killer. It wasn't Zach Wild, and it was just at like this. I don't want to call it like a club or like a small venue. It was a pretty decent sized venue, like a big warehouse type deal. But like it could probably fit like maybe I don't know 500-600 people, something like that. And there were a lot of people there. And we got into some mosh pits, man. It was crazy. Like the energy in there, like it felt like an underground show. Like it felt like I was seeing Pantera like at an underground. And the energy, dude. Oh my god. Like we were just exhausted. We were sweating and like you just start screaming, screaming along with those songs like fucking hostile, it's just great. Um so yeah, what was your original question? What were you gonna ask me?
well, so my buddy was like, "We want to go," and me and him have been to we've seen Metallica together before, and I'm just kind of like, man, like I feel like I've seen Metallica enough times. I've seen them play all the songs. I don't want to see them and get like a bad taste in my mouth, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's happened with bands. Like I saw Aerosmith after they came back from hiatus, and then they came back around on the second, like
And
same tour,
you just
but
get
like
burnt
another
out.
leg. And it was like, I wish I hadn't seen them the second time. It was bad. Like, and I don't know if I was just blinded by like nostalgia, I guess, of like wanting to see them so badly. It felt like a bucket list band for me to see at that time. I
Yeah.
thought it was great. And then Bailey is a big Aerosmith fan, so like I took her and she thought it was great, but I was just like, I don't even want to be here right now. I thought it was so bad.
Oh, dude, that is the worst at a concert when you're like, I don't really want to be here anymore. But like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. We went to the Eras tour, and like, I like Taylor Swift, and that was a great
Yeah,
tour.
I would see Taylor.
But it was 3 hours, and I think by the time we hit the 2 hour mark, I was like, oh man, okay, like, all right, I get it. All right, you know. Um, but that's not the only one. Honestly, it's funny. Like Metallica, I I think I know what you mean because I've seen them 3 times, and I think they played almost all the songs that I would have wanted to see them play. And honestly, I wasn't as impressed with Metallica live as I feel like I should have been. And the reason I say that is because they're playing live, like they're up there and they're playing and they're doing their thing, but the performance or like the entertainment aspect, I feel like started to fade away a little, like fade into black after a while. For example, I saw Iron Maiden live, and that was one of the best live shows I've ever seen
That's
because
really good.
there's such a theatrical element to it.
I
There
was gonna say that's more of like like an entertainment aspect.
Well, yeah, but that's the point of a show. It's entertainment. And so, like, I love watching Metallica live, but usually they're just up there with like screens behind them showing, like, they weren't even showing visuals whenever I saw them. It was just showing the band and like close ups of their hands and stuff. And it's
Oh,
like,
that's weird.
it was, yeah, and I'm like, okay, like, we're standing there for 2.5 hours, and it's the same visuals and the same images, and they're just standing there, and I'm like, okay, like, the show is supposed to be more than just you guys playing the songs, you know? Like, it's great seeing you play the songs, like, that is awesome, but you guys aren't like some underground club band. Like, you have unlimited.
Yo, that's really weird. Where did you see them at? 'Cause I
This
feel like
was
they're known for their stuff.
this was San Antonio.
But like which tour?
I think it was the 2017 tour that Avenged Sevenfold was opening for them. Yeah, that was it. It was the 2017 tour where when Avenged Sevenfold released the stage and then opened for Metallica for that tour.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just
I
remember.
had great visuals at my venue for that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they had something broken, but like I just
You
remember.
don't have your whole show broken.
I'm just saying. They played for 2.5 hours, and after like an hour and a half, I'm like, I'm bored. Like, I'm getting bored. Like, I'm not like, I've been standing here staring at the same thing. Like, it's not that the screens were broken. It's just like the cameras were just on their like close-ups of the band members. Whereas you go to an
Yeah.
Avenged Sevenfold show and it's like, holy shit! Like, there's just all these crazy visuals happening. You know what I mean? Like, it's a whole thing.
I'll say, as a man, I'm pro pyro. I love pyro. I'll take pyro over screens any day. Then Sevenfold might have changed my mind on the Life is But a Dream tour.
I mean, yeah, that was. I don't know. I think that was my new favorite concert, the one that we went to. I think that's like my.
Raleigh, yeah.
That's I would say that's my new favorite all time concert. That was unbelievable. Like, absolutely unbelievable. The things that they were doing there. Like, and yeah, we'll have to. We're definitely gonna do an episode on Life Is But a Dream at some point. We keep talking about it, but like, that was next level. And so that's the thing, though. It's like, why is, like, let me put it this way. After seeing Metallica the third time, I was like you. I was like, all right, I'm good. I don't really need to go out of my way to see Metallica again. I think they came by like a for ACL or something like a year or two ago, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm good. I don't need to.
Yeah.
So it's just that's. But I mean, to be fair, like, they're getting old. It's crazy that they can still play. Like,
Well, it was so interesting. So just before they crap, they did their Hardware to Self-Destruct tour, they were talking about how they couldn't play Battery live anymore.
yeah,
Which, like, I hadn't seen, that was one of the songs I hadn't seen them play live because it's just so fast. And they're like, we would rather just not play it than play it not correctly, basically.
yeah.
Well, the venue that they played at for me, it's called the Battery, and they fucking played Battery, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever. But then I saw them like years later, and they played Battery at both of the shows. I saw them at within a year of each other, so I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, they played Battery at the first show that I saw them at, and it was pretty awesome. That song translates kind of weird live, though. I think it's almost a little too
Yeah,
it's a little too fast. Um, that's what I felt like. Like, the other songs, you're just headbanging and jamming, and then that song's almost like a little too
you
fast.
gotta work. You gotta work to do it right.
Yeah, and it kind of takes you out of it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, but what do you think of Lars? What do you think of his drumming? This is a controversial topic.
I don't have a problem with Lars.
I don't either. I that's
Um,
hilarious. You're like one of the only other people I've ever met that's like, I I I think Lars gets so much unnecessary criticism.
yeah, I did too.
I think,
I
like,
don't think he's like the greatest drummer ever, but I think he's a top-notch drummer.
well, it's funny, right? Because nobody complains about like Kirk Hammett's playing, right? But Kirk Hammett as a lead guitarist, like, he's good. He is a good lead guitarist, a great lead guitarist. But by modern standards, he ain't that good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's yeah,
he
he ain't
ain't
shit.
he ain't shit compared to like a Sinister Gates, or
Yeah,
like, it's not even fucking close. So
No,
it's so funny because
I
what?
I think we like to hate Lars because of his kind of attitude
Oh,
and the
definitely.
fact that he's European. I think that that doesn't do many favors.
No, I think his attitude and like his demeanor is definitely a huge factor in that. But honestly, man, it's like with the Napster stuff. Like, I think it's so funny that people still like I'll still go and see comments about that like on Facebook and Instagram and stuff. Oh, he's still complaining about Napster, and I'm like, no, you're still complaining about Napster. But he under like it's crazy seeing the state of the music industry now, and like
Yeah,
he saw that
yeah,
back then and
yeah.
was like, if we
Sorry to interrupt you.
bibli bibli.
Um, and I'm sure he's probably said this live or like publicly before, but listen, he already made his money. He wasn't worried about making any more money.
He did. No, there's specifically an interview where he says, we're good, but if we don't put a stop to this, this is like the death of the music industry. Like if we don't do something about it right now, like it's going to cause problems. And he's like, I'm not doing it for us. We're fine. We're Metallica. We're the biggest band in the world. But like, we've got to do something about this. And everyone shat on him. It's like, he just wants to make more money. He doesn't want music to be for the people. And it's like, well, now look at the state of music. Like bands can't be
Lars
successful,
sitting in his bathtub full of dollar bills,
right? Well,
$100 bills.
and it's funny because they'll use that as they'll be like, that's why he wanted the Napster stuff. It's like, no, that's why, or they'll say that's why the Napster stuff was all just selfish. And it's like, no, it's the opposite. That's why it was selfless because he already had the money. He was looking out for smaller bands, and now it's like the like band culture, like record label band production culture, whatever you want to call it, is.
Yeah,
I mean, it's essentially like it's not dead, but it ain't great, you know. You
it's not
you just
not for the band.
yeah, like you can't make money anymore. Like you literally can't make money. So there's no profitability in it for like a newer band. Like you and I have talked about Code Orange before, and like
Yeah,
I really like Code Orange. I think that they're actually really underrated. I think they do lots of super cool stuff. Um, I know you're a little bit less enthusiastic, not like in a bad way, but like,
yeah, they're just not my cup of tea.
and that's fine.
I don't think they're bad.
But the thing is they were even doing an interview about it, and they were talking about how they're really trying to figure out how to exist in the current music industry because like they have to pay the bills. They have to
Yeah,
bring in money with their albums, but then they're kind of in their own little niche world and they're
yeah,
not super popular. I mean, their latest album, The Above, which that was one of my top albums from last year. That was like a top 3 album for me last year. I loved it. The music videos only got like 1 or 2 million views. It's like, what the hell? And they're like one of the better bands in my opinion,
yeah.
that could actually get to some
I
mainstream
think that's
level.
hard because they're trying to be a band that pushes boundaries, but that's not the thing people want, or I guess, or don't want to you
Well,
know?
it's risky, And what's funny
Yeah,
is, well, here's what's funny is because their 2020 album, The Underneath or Underneath, I thought, that album was definitely like a boundary pushing album and it received critical acclaim, but it was like death metal. Like it was only in the metal world. So I think the most popular music video got like 2 million views. So then with the above is definitely more mainstreamish and like normal, quote unquote. But I still felt like they walked that line pretty well where they had like interesting things and like stuff that I thought was really cool, but still putting it in like a normal song. Like I even had, Shelby listening to some of their songs, like on her own. She said that there were songs that were getting stuck in her head. And so it's like, to me, here's like a really good band that's heavy as shit and but still making like music that I think mainstream people could like get a hold of.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like there's no, where do they get the money from if they're not a Metallica or an Avenged Sevenfold or something? Where does the money come from? Because it's not going to come from streaming. And so maybe merch, they sell a couple t-shirts. Is that the only revenue source? It's not going to come from ticket sales. Like they'd be lucky to go on a tour and break even, you know? So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
So,
I think,
mhm.
you know, AI is not going to make it better.
I mean, I don't even know what AI is going to have. Like, honestly, I've been using AI to work on some music myself, but only as
Hmm.
like I'm using okay, so I actually went to an AI seminar for work and it was pretty cool and they talked about like you need to be using AI as what he called a thought partner, meaning like
Right.
and you bounce ideas off of it. It's amazing at that. And so, I've been talking to it about like songs and creating themes for songs and like structures and stuff. And then you can ask it to critique what you came up with and like you can tell it like pretend that you are a world-class musician who has sold millions of records. Please critique this song and let me know if the structure seems appropriate and what improvements I could make. You can tell it to do that and it'll do it and it's really great. So I've been using it for that reason, but I just don't even know how it's going to affect everything else. Like, I don't know, man. It's going to get weird.
I don't think it'll be in a positive manner for artists
Yeah.
personally.
But all of this is to say, to kind of bring it back around, like Lars was on to something. Like he saw where this was going. And, say what you want about Lars, but the dude is smart. And he really is like the brains behind Metallica. So, and yeah, I mean, he's not like the greatest drummer ever, but like he basically set the standard for heavy metal drumming for at least a decade, if not more. I'd say a decade. By the time we got to the '90s, you had like Slipknot and shit. So,
Yeah, bro.
but yeah, ours is cool. James is cool. I mean, I feel like James is mellowed out a lot. He's kind of on his peace and love vibes past few years.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, yeah, but anyway, so that's cool. This is fun talking about Metallica. It's a band that like obviously they're the biggest metal band in the world. Might even be
Yeah.
like the biggest band in the world, honestly, other than like
Yeah.
the
I think
Beatles.
no doubt.
So it's like, but it's fun talking about them. Well, maybe we'll do like a little breakdown, or I'll do a breakdown on one of their songs or something.
Yeah, I
Because
guess we haven't done a Metallica song, have we?
no, we haven't. Maybe we
That's wild to me.
well, there's been a lot. Like there's a lot that we've been doing. So yeah, well, let's do a Metallica song next. Or if you want, you can join in on a breakdown again. I know I've been doing them solo, but you're always welcome to join in. I'll let you know when I'm doing them if you're free.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we'll take a. I think this is a nice like general discussion, but maybe we can pick a song or even just pick like one album and like dive into it a bit or something. Um, it's funny. I was thinking like, what are we gonna do next week? But honestly, next week, next Friday is the new Linkin Park album.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit! Are you excited? I'm pumped.
Yes. There's something else coming out soon. I don't remember. Oh, did you see Killswitch announced new music coming out in November as well?
I did not, but I'm just gonna be honest. I've never been like the biggest.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
it's okay.
Killswitch is all right.
Um, actually, also on that topic as well, um, this is going back to the intro
Mm-hmm.
of our situation here. Howard Jones worked, uh, Cult of the Lamb is a video game that just came out. He helped with like the soundtrack and like did vocals on the song. And I
Mm-hmm.
listened to the soundtrack waiting to find his song. Never found it because it's not on the soundtrack itself. It's totally separate, but the soundtrack is pretty interesting.
Cult of the Lamb.
Yes.
That's the name of the
Uh,
game.
I think it's the name of the game and the soundtrack title.
Oh, okay. Is it a horror game?
I don't know what it is if I'm being honest.
Oh. Cult of, hold on, let me look it up real quick. Cult of the Lamb. That's, I
Um,
haven't heard of it. Oh, did it like
but
just come out?
it's new.
Oh yeah, it's,
Uh,
oh no, it came out in 2022.
oh, never mind.
Huh.
Why the heck is Howard just now plugging
Is there a sequel?
country?
Cult of the Lamb 2?
I don't know.
Two Cults of the Lamb?
Maybe his song just came out recently. Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wow, it won like a lot. It won awards, like a lot. Best
oh,
it won lots of awards for its soundtrack. Okay.
it's a pretty interesting soundtrack.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I much prefer Kill Switch with Howard than Jesse, and that's nothing against Jesse. I just
Hmm.
like Howard's voice is just
Howard's the one that did
him.
My Curse, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's like that's that good shit.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he's cool.
yeah. I like Howard.
I'll check that out. Yeah, it won like a lot of awards for it, or and was nominated for a lot too, specifically for the soundtrack. So cool stuff.
I want to actually check out the game itself too at some point.
Yeah. What are you playing right now?
System Shock.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever played it.
Do you know about it though?
I mean, I've heard of it, but I don't know about it.
So System Shock was like the precursor to BioShock and all that stuff.
Oh, really? Was it made by the
And
same people?
yes, 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 yes. I think so. As far as I know.
That's fine. Okay, so what? But what about it though? What's the deal? Spiritual
It's just
precursor to?
yeah, I mean it's just the um it came out in like the 90s, I think. Like the late 90s. Hold on, I got it. Funnily enough, I have it pulled up right now on
So
my
they just.
Xbox.
It looks like they just remastered it.
They did, yeah.
Man, Bioshock needs a remaster.
Original from 94. So System Shock 2 was 99. Um, so I'm a gamer. That's my big hobby, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I like to try and play all like the big classic hits, like, era defining games, and this is one of them. Um,
Yeah, I've definitely heard of it, but I've never like actually played it.
I I like it. It definitely reeks of like old 90s game and does not hold your hand at all. And it's hard. It's one of the harder games I've played in a while.
It honestly, it really makes me think of Half Life, just based on the
I
screenshots I'm seeing right now.
I can get the vibe of that for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I recommend it. It's not a bad game. And it's like I think the remaster is like 30 or $40, but you can buy it on sale for like 10 or 20
Yeah.
whenever it happens.
Okay.
Um, it I've enjoyed it. It's been challenging in a way that I haven't been challenged by a game in a long time, and it's just because there's no hand holding. It's literally like, all right, go do it. And you're like, well, what, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. See, honestly, I love
Um,
that now. I hate. You know, what's funny.
yes,
I'm actually. This is kind of funny. I'm playing Assassin's Creed um Odyssey right
Odyssey.
now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a, Ubisoft doesn't seem to be doing so well right now, so I figured I'd throw a couple bucks at them. Um and I got it on discount for like $5. So,
That
but
helps.
the very first thing I did, man, no joke, is I went to the settings and turned off all the shit on the HUD. I completely cleared
Wow.
my HUD out. If I need to know where to go, I look at my map and I figure it out. And I like go there
Um,
without the trackers or the markers or anything.
then you absolutely would love System Shock because none of those things exist in this game.
Yeah. I started the game up and you had your compass, you had your level, and like for whatever reason they had your level in the top right corner. They had your health in the bottom left or in the bottom of the screen, compass at the top, your current mission in the top, level in the top right, compass on the top, middle, mission and objectives in the top left, your markers on the screen telling you where to go, your health bar and your energy bar on the bottom of the screen. I'm like, no, get all this shit off my screen. Like, let me play the game. Let me use my brain, please. So
Um,
I'm enjoying it.
yeah, that's been my big time sink. I just beat Near Replicant. I got all the endings. Of course, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 just came out. I'm playing that,
I am
and
not,
I'm still on my grind to get all the achievements in the Master Chief Collection.
man. That's what
I have
we're
less than 100 to
good.
go.
Good luck, my guy. I did.
It'll happen.
I finished Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and that was pretty good. Like I did everything in Kingdom Hearts 1, and I beat both of them on proud mode. Um,
Yeah.
I am a little nervous. I'm taking a break from it because I got burnt out on Kingdom Hearts, but I'm a little nervous to play Kingdom Hearts 2 on proud mode because the last time I played, it was final mix and I played it on normal, and those bosses were rough, bro, on normal mode. So, but I got to do it. I it's like my favorite game, and I've beaten it on proud mode, but on the original version. So
Yeah.
not, so I want to do final mix with all of the optional bosses on proud mode, but I'm taking a little break with Assassin's Creed Odyssey. It's been a long time since I've played an Assassin's Creed game. They really kind of ran that franchise into the ground, and I think they deserve all of the criticism that they're getting right now for making a game set in Japan and then like whatever. I'm not even gonna get into that. Um, the fucking politics of that situation are just ridiculous. But
Oh,
anyway, like it, they had it. A perfect golden opportunity to just nail it. Everyone's been asking for a Japanese Assassin's Creed game since like the first one came out. Like, oh man, wouldn't it be so sweet to be like a samurai ninja assassin? Like we used to fantasize about that. They had it. They just couldn't help themselves.
I think Ghost is the way to go there,
That's
personally.
what, yeah. And it's funny because I remember when Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I feel like it wasn't getting a lot of attention, and then it just blew up. And then, especially after Assassin's Creed has dropped the ball, it's like it's blown up even more. Like it's huge. Like everyone talks about Ghost of Tsushima now.
Yeah,
Um,
I platinum Ghost.
yeah, that and Black Myth Wukong is the other one.
Have not touched that one yet.
Do
I've
you,
heard good things. I'm kind of at a point where, as somebody who loves the Soulsborne games, I'm a little tired of everybody trying to come out with a Soulsborne game.
yeah, I think
Um,
I'm with you, and I don't play any others. I don't play the rip-off games. I only play the Soulsborns. But Black Myth Wukong seems a little different. Like it doesn't seem like it's trying to be a Soulsborne necessarily.
yeah,
It's just the way that the game is designed, and it seems to work really well for it. Like it's much more cinematic and like story focused. Um,
I'll have to
I'm
check
really
it out
interested to play
then.
it. And like if you're curious, I've only seen the intro cutscene, so you should just watch like the first cutscene of the game because it's pretty badass, and it like I think it's also interesting getting a game that's about Chinese mythology. I don't think we've ever gotten that, you know?
Probably they're few and far between.
Yeah. So and the game was like sponsored by the Chinese government and shit too, which I mean, all right,
Oh,
we're not condoning the Chinese government, but there was a lot of pressure on that game, and they really wanted to make sure that it was like good and true to like their mythologies and traditions and all of that. And I just appreciate that. Like I like that, you know?
yeah,
Like that's why I like the original Assassin's Creed games was like you could play one of the Assassin's Creeds that's like set in Rome and you would learn about Rome and Roman culture and all of that, you know? Like it was like a little trip down like through history, and
yeah.
then they just got
I won't
stupid.
lie. I fucking hated the Assassin's Creed games growing up.
Really?
Yeah.
I
However, ever since they revamped the series to where they're more like the God of War
mhm.
gameplay, I've, I think I would like it.
So that's another thing is like they have damage numbers that come up when you hit people. I turned those off as well.
Yeah,
Um,
that would drive me bonkers.
yeah, that was pretty dumb. It totally takes me out of the game. But as someone who loved the Assassin's Creed games growing up, I played up to the fourth one, which is one of my favorite games ever, just because I love pirate games. Um, but I think I stopped at Assassin's Creed Unity because I do not give a shit about the French Revolution. And the intro for that game was like 8 hours long, and I was like, oh my god, just let me play the game. um but I loved Assassin's Creed 4 anyway. After turning off all of the random bullshit on the HUD and on with the numbers and stuff, I can safely say Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it. It's a lot of fun.
I've heard it was good. I think it was the Origins was maybe the first one where they changed up
Yeah,
their approach.
yeah, the is
Um,
set in Egypt.
yeah,
Yeah, so yeah, that's
no,
fine. I just was never really into like Egyptian mythology or Egyptian stuff. But like the Greek culture really interests me. I really like that. And then they came out with a third one, Norse culture.
yes.
That was it. But I heard that one was bad. I heard that that's where they started to drop the ball and like make the story and the plots stupid. Yeah. And then this new one, they are just getting shat on with all of like the revisionist history, and like apparently one of the characters has like this symbol that's like a they thought that it was like this iconic Japanese symbol, but which it is. It's like a broken statue thing. Um but it's a statue that was left standing, like half standing after the atomic bomb. So it didn't become an iconic Japanese symbol until after World War II. And they've got it on this character in like feudal Japan. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, so I don't know. I've just, whatever. To me, it just seems like such a slam dunk, and it does not seem to be going well for them. So I'm gonna just keep playing Odyssey and pretending like it's the good old days with Assassin's Creed, good old Ezio. Oh man, what a discussion! This took some twists and turns. Uh, this is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I think that's a good place to call it though. Got to talk about some video games at the end there, and Metallica discussion. We'll have to dive a little more into Metallica, because I mean, I think you and I are both really big fans of them. Unlike Guns N' Roses, and
Fuck that shit.
man, one day we should do it on like our 100th episode or something. Like, we'll see. Cool. You got a fact? Anything you want to share with the gang?
Fact of the day.
What is the fact of the day?
Um, there's lots of things I could say,
Yeah.
but I think oh,
Oh.
Chiodos.
Yeah, they're
Sorry,
doing
I'm
25 years.
yes. Oh my God. Dude,
Heyo.
Chiodos all's well that ends well. I might go to that.
I just didn't. I just was never really into Chiodos like that.
Oh man, I love me some. That's like some prime middle school, high school angst right there.
So all the singing
Uh,
sounds like.
that's not true.
That's not true.
They're not as bad as some of the other bands. They're definitely like oh my God, Pierce the Veil and some of those bands from that era where I'm just like, why am I? Why is no?
Pierce the Veil was unbearable.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
God, I remember everyone.
Chiodos was like at least musically very interesting.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
That's why I really liked them.
Pierce the Veil. I was like, what is wrong with y'all? Like, what is going on? Whack. Maybe that's the factoid though. 25th anniversary of All's Well That Ends Well. Is that what it is? From
That's
Chiodos.
wild.
Go check them
Go
out.
listen to some. I was gonna say, go listen to some Chiodos.
Yeah. All right, cool. Let's call it there. You ready?
Alrighty.
Wale.